Hey, what's up, guys? This is D with NearFallGaming back for yet another episode of Smackdown vs. Raw 2008 General Manager Mode Series. We are on the June 21st episode of Smackdown. Of course, we're going to do a quick preview of the June 14th episode, so let's go ahead, get right into it. First match. I will state that just about every single one of these matches had some kind of like hardcore stipulation or whatever, and that is not actually the case in kayfabe. But match number one, Johnny Nitro, Sabu. Sabu actually picks up the victory in kayfabe despite the victory in gameplay going to Johnny Nitro. Just some cruiserweight exhibition action. Sabu improves his standings in the rankings. Match number two, this was in fact for the Cruiserweight Championship, Elijah Burke versus Matt Hardy. Elijah Burke, you see on the graphic, Elijah Burke lost, and that is true. However, he got himself disqualified. In the kayfabe, he just held a hold past the 5 count on the ropes, getting himself disqualified. In the gameplay, I'm pretty sure I just smacked Matt Hardy with a chair. But I didn't stress it enough in that last episode that this tactic really caused some confusion upon Marcus Corvan. Like, clearly, Marcus Corvan, he is a straight face. Elijah Burke's more of a tweener, but that isn't necessarily on the surface yet. And, of course, the Hardy Boys are faces. So, for Elijah Burke to, intentionally do that, he was trying to play it off as though, it wasn't intentional, and he was just trying to get that competitive edge. But Corvan was just like, bro, what'd you just? You really just did that? Like, I can't believe you, But while Burke was like, I didn't do it on purpose, but he was also like, I'm not gonna bend over backwards to, please you. I'm still the Cruiserweight champion. Like, why are you mad? And he held the same attitude towards Corvan as he did towards the Hardys. The Hardy Boys were just kind of like, really? And Corvan was like, I can't believe you just did that. So this definitely caused a rift a little bit, and just kind of like a confusion and kind of an uncomfortable confusion between the four of them. Match number 3 was not actually a handicap match, but it was Rey Mysterio versus William Regal. He was accompanied by Finlay and King Booker. So obviously, like I just said, it wasn't actually a handicap match, but William Regal does pick up the victory through like Finlay and King Booker just like interfering and causing distraction, and I believe that was pretty much what we said about that one. Match number 4 was our 6-man tag team match. We had it here as an elimination tornado match, but that wasn't actually the case in kayfabe. But Kennedy, Snitsky, and Chris Masters taking on Kane, Jeff Hardy, and Marcus Corvan. Actually, if I remember correctly, Kane ends up... It was an elimination match. I don't remember if it was a tornado match. I doubt it. I'm not a huge fan of tornado matches. But Kane ends up eliminating Kennedy and Masters to end it off and to give his team the victory. Moving on to the main event. This wasn't a real match. It was more of just a contract signing segment. We played it, and Edge ended up picking up the victory. It didn't really matter who, got the victory in this. It gives him a little extra popularity. I guess it kind of determined who would have thrown the other through the table, even though I think Edge did like a drop toe hold through the table, unfortunately. But we'll just say, like, Lashley probably... Edge instigated some kind of fight. Lashley was about to get him through a table, and then Edge, like, jumped off of his back and then hit him with like an electric chair through the table or something like that. That sounds a little bit better, and but that anything would really be better than a drop toe hold through a table, though. So that was it. That was our 3-star June 14th SmackDown. So let's just get right into June 21st SmackDown. We will go ahead and confirm everything, and then we will give you the preview and go ahead and get started. Match number 1 is going to be Finlay taking on Rey Mysterio. In the graphic, you see Finlay's got his 2 buddies. In the graphic, it says handicap. It's the only way I can get 3 guys on one side against a lone competitor. So graphics says handicap, kayfabe says one-on-one matchup with some managers. Ray's just, kind of going through it. Clearly, Ray has upset King Booker by constantly defeating him. He challenged him for that United States Championship, and he wanted to get some revenge against Regal. Ray's gonna keep on fighting, so he says, "Fuck you, throw me Finley. I'm gonna get to you, King, and we gonna handle out our biz." So that brings us to match number 2, just a standard. It says a hardcore triple threat, but it's really just the only way I can have a triple threat tag team match. It won't be a tornado tag. It would be just a normal as a 3-way tag team match can be, I guess. But teams are MVP and Johnny Nitro, Chavito and Kenny Dykstra, and the Hardy Boys. So this will basically determine who is going to be next in line to face Corvon and Elijah Burke for the Cruiserweight Championship. The Tag Team Championships, excuse me. Match number 3 is going to be Sabu and Chris Masters. Just another exhibition. Chris Masters has got to get his losing streak corrected, so we will see what happens here. Obviously, we know Chris Masters had some beef with Kane in the past few weeks. We'll see what kind of involvement is entailed there. Match number 4 is a one-on-one match between Mr. Kennedy and King Booker. Mr. Kennedy has been scrambling the past few weeks. He has been looking for any kind of competition he can get to prove that he belongs back in the World Heavyweight Championship picture. He's trying to get to the Great American Bash as a competitor. He's trying to make it a triple threat, more or less, for the Great American Bash, because we know that Bobby Lashley and Edge are already locked in for a world title match. So, the general manager, he's like, I hear you, Mr. Kennedy, and, I'm a man of reason, so I'm not going to give you a whole bunch of BS excuses on why I'm going to try to hold you back. So, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a match with the best competition that we've got available this evening. And that ends up being the United States Champion, King Booker. So, that is basically, it. We're just getting 2 high popularity guys in the show involved in matches, and Mr. Kennedy needs to prove that he can compete or at least contend with the higher guys on the roster. And King Booker is not scheduled to be in a match. He will make an appearance with Finley's match, but he is not scheduled to compete himself. We got 20 motherfuckers on this roster, so, we got to do what we got to do. It's going to be a heel versus a heel, but they're both popular heels, so let's see who is the heelier heel, who's more heelish. So that's a great segue into our main event this evening, which is a tag team match between the World Heavyweight Champion Edge and the number 1 contender Bobby Lashley, taking on the tag team champions Elijah Burke and Marcus Corvon. After last week's contract signing debacle, the general manager is using this match as a bit of punishment, so to speak, and you guys are going to have to figure out how to coexist. The Great American Bash is coming up. I can't have you guys injuring each other, so I'm going to put you on the same team, because that always works, right? That never backfires. So, with that being said, that is our main event. Edge and Bobby Lashley taking on the tag team champions Elijah Burke, Marcus Corvon. Remember, after last week, there's a little bit of, kind of unease, I suppose, regarding the tag team champions, because Elijah Burke got himself disqualified to retain his Cruiserweight Championship, and Marcus Corvon was like, bro, you didn't need to do that. Like, you should just had the match. Like, I don't get it. Moving on, match number 1, Rey Mysterio Finley. We're going to simulate this guy, and that's the kayfabe outcome that we wanted. As you can see, it's a handicap match, as that was, kind of hinted at, but Rey Mysterio is on the side with Regal and King Booker. Figured it would help the odds of Mysterio getting the win as he does in kayfabe, and then it gives Regal and King Booker a popularity boost rather than taking down 3 guys' popularity instead of just Finley's. But what goes down Obviously, Regal and King Booker are still going to have a presence in the match. They're still going to try to do their dirty shit. But Rey Mysterio is just kind of, I don't want to say he's figuring them out, but he's figuring them out. He's learning their go-to attacks and stuff like that, so he's able to anticipate what they're going to try to set him up for, and he ends up picking up the victory against Finlay in this matchup, and just kind of gets a quick pin, maybe like a roll-up or something of the sort, and gets the 1-2-3 and then gets the fuck out of there because Regal storms the ring. Booker's pissed because he can't believe what he just saw, and William Regal or Rey Mysterio goes into commercial break, going up the ramp like, yeah, what's up, bitch? All right, match number 2. We're going to simulate this because I can only imagine the fuckery that would go on here. So we're going to hope that is not the outcome that we wanted. Of course, Chavito takes another loss, but Matt and Jeff Hardy actually get the win here, and they position themselves to compete with Elijah Burke and Marcus Corvan, which is a little interesting because of the match last week, Matt Hardy versus Burke. Burke got himself disqualified for the 3rd time this episode. Alright, match number 3. As you can see here, we've got Kane as a manager role with Chris Masters. That is because he's going to come out and interfere. Now this is going to cause yet another loss for Chris Masters. We'll go ahead and play this one. We haven't seen Sabu do his entrance yet, so let's see it. Sabu, as you can remember, if you've been watching the series, last few episodes, he has really shot his position up in the card in the cruiserweight division, rather. So, a match with a heavyweight, even if he loses to said heavyweight, it may or may not be the end of the world. Ooh, hit him with the psych. Hit him with the psych. Alright, there is Sabu. So, funny story about Chris Masters' entrance, because that his opening little graphic on his entrance, or his Titantron basically, is actually super copyrighted. So it will partially block my videos in certain countries if I show that. So going forward, if we're going to have Chris Masters' entrance on camera, sorry about that pyro, but anyway, going forward, if Chris Masters' entrance will be on camera, we will not be showing that beginning little portion of his Titantron. So here comes Chris Masters, and he has just absolutely been livid, probably for the last month or so, because he is just taking L after L. Pardon me, had some work stuff going on. I had to answer some questions over text. Anyway, Chris Masters has, just been taking L after L, basically, ever since that loss in the World Heavyweight Championship. Oh, nice, scary Kubiak, real nice. The contendership tournament. Chris Masters, he just hasn't been able to fulfill perform to the standards that he has set for himself, being the masterpiece. He's right around there probably with like Chavo Guerrero and Gregory Helms when he was teaming up with Kenny Dykstra as far as wins in the past month or so. So he's just he's not happy. So in turn, because of that, he has just become more aggressive in his matches, less like I mean, he's still an arrogant prick for sure, but like he's not as cocky. You know, he's a little bit more on edge. He's a little bit more like chip on his shoulder type thing, I suppose, because you know he's like, I'm better than you. I don't know why I'm losing. So that is kind of the slight character transition that we've seen from Chris Masters. Okay, I like the little kicks from Sabu, but I can't get much by way of offense on Chris Masters right now. Oh, big reversal. I could go all day, baby. I can go all day. Okay. Well, he cannot if you do that.
Sabu makes me sick. He shows no respect for his own body. How can he possibly respect anyone else?
I think Sabu respects anyone who's willing and able to go the distance with him.
Well, I
Come on,
don't.
brother.
A superstar's career is too valuable to risk it by getting in the ring with a head case like...
The adrenaline is pumping. The crowd is coming alive. This is what they came to see.
Hey,
Nice. Nice inverted DDT there. Okay. Can he make it? I don't think he can by any means. No, he can hit him with his feet at least. Okay.
Exactly what they want to see.
You can't just keep playing to the crowd. That's a huge distraction in my opinion. Instead of pandering to the fans, you should really keep your head in the match.
Come on. You're looking at a superstar who can feed off the crowd and use that energy to win the match.
Tell me something. When you look at the masterpiece, does it make you feel like even more of a loser than you normally do?
Actually, when I look at the masterpiece, I'm glad I don't have the out-of-control ego that he does.
Listen, if you can sing it, you can bring it. The masterpiece has decimated some of the greatest superstars in WWE.
I can't argue with his results. It's his methods that I object to.
Man, you just can't put anything over on these fans.
Okay, Sabu.
You sure can.
Let's go,
They see
Sabu.
everything, and they'll let you know about it. All right.
Look at this.
Oh,
Pandering to the
rough.
crowd.
He's taking a little time.
I like how fast he gets up after
Piece of his mind.
taking that spill. That's a bump that you're not just gonna get right up. No sells it immediately.
I certainly don't envy the referee in this match.
No kidding. No matter what call you make, you're going to get on the bad side of at least one superstar.
Hitting
And that's about the last
his
place you
opponent with
wanna be
another
if you're
Boston
not a
Crab, you know,
superstar
that's
yourself.
just
Trust me,
the
I know.
CPU AI way. I don't really expect Sabu
Each
to
of
be
these
a
competitors is looking for the slightest weakness in the other.
technical
That's the
superstar.
law of the jungle, and injured superstars like a wounded animal. It's
Nice
the
little leg
survival
whip.
of the fittest.
And that also means that if you're not at 100%, you've got to be able to hide it from your opponent.
Now what you trying to do, Masters? You trying to go for your new finisher? Nope, he's not.
You
Okay.
can't let your opponent
Interesting
take your
choice of
easy
offense.
Well, I wouldn't consider any of these superstars to be easy pickies, no matter how beaten up they get.
These superstars are at the top of their game, but only one of them is going to have his hand raised at the end of this one.
And that's a real shame because, like you said, this has been a great match so far.
So what?
Damn, son.
You want to say that
Damn,
everybody
son.
wins so that nobody gets their feelings hurt?
I think I was initially going to
I'm just
simulate
saying that
this
in a great
match,
match
actually.
like this, everyone involved deserves credit.
But here we are. We are playing it.
I don't think there's anything that Sabu wouldn't do to an opponent if he thought it would win him the match.
I think I wanted to film it and show YouTube what a good little boy I am for not including that copyrighted snippet of Chris Masters' Titantron. I think that's really what was going on internally for me.
Paid to do a job like this. There's thousands of people out there who would do this for free.
Golly, he's cranking this. I mean, Masters got a good submission rating, I'm sure of it. Okay, okay. Chris Masters with a submission. We're gonna say that was a master lock submission. I had no idea how. I mean, I was trying to get out, but it didn't work. I don't know how to make it work better. But okay, Chris Masters. This is a good setup for the kayfabe because in kayfabe, Chris Masters does finally get that victory. He finally snaps his losing streak. You know, all it took was getting some aggression out on Kane a little bit. But the Chris Masters you see on the screen right now is not the Chris Masters in kayfabe. Chris Masters is still a pissed off dude. He won by the Master Lock, not by a camel clutch, but he holds that Master Lock in, and he is just breaking Sabu. Sabu is looking like, he's looking like the girl off The Ring. If anyone's seen that movie, hair in front of his face, head down. Not a good look for the idol maniac. And I say the idol maniac, not like IDOL, but all the words that preface idol in his nickname that probably would get me taken off of YouTube if I said too often. So that's match number 3. We're gonna move on to match number 4. You see Kane here in the managerial role. That's because Kane. What happens? He's no superhero. He ain't saving no hoes. Sabu, Kane's not coming out he's not busting his ass down the ramp to get Sabu out of a master lock. But what he does is some pyro goes off around the ring posts, and Chris Masters, obviously that he wasn't expecting that. Kane's nowhere to be seen right now, so that causes Chris Masters to let go of Sabu and let go of the master lock, and then you just see Kane like through the Titantron, and Kane is just like laughing, and Chris Masters is not pleased with that and just kind of is pulling out his hair a little bit and just like, I'm gonna get you, you son of a bitch, that kind of thing, and Kane's a lot cooler headed because Masters was the one that attacked him a couple weeks ago, but Kane got his revenge last week in that 6-man tag match. So Kane's chilling, but he's gonna fuck with Chris Masters in the head a little bit. So now you see this was a one-on-one matchup, but this is a convoluted mess. We're going to simulate this match, hopefully get the right outcome. We did get the right outcome that we wanted. Again, this was a one-on-one matchup, Mr. Kennedy versus King Booker. However, to get the match card representation, the visual, I suppose, because we didn't do a match, so you didn't see the visual there. And I sure as shit I'm not going to do a tag team match for fun when it's not actually a tag team match in kayfabe. You're just not going to see me doing that right now. But anyway, I digress. I'm getting a little distracted. King Booker loses to Mr. Kennedy because that son of a bitch, Rey Mysterio, just came and fucked on William Regal and Finlay. He didn't even touch King Booker. Snitsky, did his job of being ugly and being big and being a bastard. He stood ringside and, he got involved to an extent, but it was a good match overall. There was a lot of heavy breathing and staring between Snitsky, Finlay, and William Regal, but Rey Mysterio ultimately came down and said, I'm going to fuck some shit up, and that's exactly what he did with William Regal and Finlay. King Booker was probably more upset about that than the involvement of Snitsky, but Mysterio makes an appearance, double dips into the night, as does King Booker's whole little faction, and we have another victory in singles competition for Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Kennedy has beaten Bobby Lashley, Rey Mysterio, King Booker, and I think those are probably like the most notable names of just one-on-one victories that Mr. Kennedy has gotten lately. Obviously, couldn't get it done against Kane in the finals, and could not get it done in a triple threat match that would have just given him outright number 1 contendership. But Mr. Kennedy is nothing to be scoffed at. Moving on to our main event for the evening, we are going to simulate this motherfucker because it's another tag team match, and I just kind of thinking about it. Yeah, we've probably featured Elijah Burke and Marcus Corvant. Not so much those two, but Bobby Lashley for sure. Rey Mysterio, Kennedy, and maybe Booker have had the most, on-camera features of their matches and everything like that. So we're going to simulate this match. And that is not the outcome that actually happens. So Edge and Lashley, despite, being fuck, actually I should have played this match so Burke and Corvon don't move up in the fucking power rankings. Damn it. So I screwed up there, but we're going to learn from our mistakes. But in kayfabe, Edge and Bobby Lashley do pick up the victory over Corvon and Burke, while Edge and Lashley, they are not eager to team up by any means. They're still going to handle business when they're in the ring. And, Lashley was doing more of like, I'm going to let my actions in the ring do my shit talking to you, Edge. And I'm just going to fuck on Elijah Burke and Marcus Corvon a little bit. And Elijah Burke and Marcus Corvon, they're having their issues as well. And it kind of became more apparent in this week's episode where just the communication was a little off with the tag team champions. And, Elijah Burke's like, this is another match that I didn't ask for. You put me in a match I didn't ask for last week, so what the fuck, man? You're kind of blaming it on Marcus Corvon despite the GM setting up this match. But anyway, that is the main gist of this week. Bobby Lashley and Edge actually pick up the victory in kayfabe. I should have done it the other way around, and I didn't, and I regret it immediately. But that's not going to stop us from this week's shenanigans. So let's check out Vengeance. I want to check out the roster, see the popularity. It's been a little while since we played, just not that long, but a few days. Okay, Edge, Booker, 87s, Burke, 86. Fuck you. Okay, got a lot of 80s now, and we like to see that. We're definitely getting out of that predominant 70s, I guess. Finley got his massive bump from being associated with King Abu. Fatigue is creeping up there. Dykstra, Hardy. Okay. Can't be careless with it, but we're still not really in a whole lot of danger. We've got a while to a pay-per-view, so I don't have to worry about really shelling out a whole bunch of matches with high fatigue. I think we're going to send Chris Masters on a date here on Vengeance. We'll give him a little superstar cameo at Vengeance. Despite this would not be the guy to choose to send to like represent Smackdown right now, because he's like 1 in 6 or something like that in the past 2 months. Ashley Massaro probably defeated like Raw only got 25,000 with a pay-per-view. That's interesting. Ashley had the match of the night, so that's probably why that they only got 25,000. Give me a 3.5 for SmackDown. Okay, can't get a 3.5. Vengeance got 3 stars. I wonder if they'll show me what the results were to the match. They do. Okay, the created wrestlers take on Undertaker, Umaga, and Michelle McCool. That's kind of cute. Undertaker and Michelle McCool, they did their little thing. Created Wrestler and CM Punk are the tag team champions. Roddy Piper loses to Melina and Batista. And a women's tag team match, or a women's title match. Iron Man, okay. Iron Woman actually defeated Candice. They do not defend the Intercontinental or the WWE Championship at Vengeance, which is a little questionable, but I'm okay with that. Let's check out our fan support by the numbers. See, we're getting back up there. I don't know how Raw is now in first. ECW dropping down after like owning everybody for a while, I suppose. Okay, Power 25, John Cena up at the top. Rick Rude, the ECW champion, at the top of ECW. Roddy Piper. And then 6 SmackDown guys. Or no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 SmackDown guys. Technically 7 if you want to get technically. Only 3 of them can compete for the World Heavyweight Championship, and not a single one of them is Bobby Lashley. He's our number one contender. Okay, so I really fucked up by not getting the win for Bobby Lashley and Edge last week. So lessons have been learned, and no Chavito in sight. Kenny Dykstra is still in the top 10. Man, the Power 15 is a crazy world, man. All right, let's take another look at the roster. See, do I need to send Lashley? Okay, yeah, we're gonna put Lashley into like God status a little bit this week. First, we're gonna send him on a date. Then we're gonna do something that doesn't use any fatigue. Nice, and that'll put him into 90. Without risking any fatigue. There we go. Come on, Lashley. Go sign some autographs. +1. Okay, that puts him at an even 90. Kenny Dykstra Podcast Day. But it's not Kenny Dykstra. We're going to go with our man Willie Reeves is what we're going to do. Nice. Bobby Lashley, 90. Okay, there we go. The man. Okay, the Hardy Boys also could use some lovin's, but I think we should address our low guys with Thursday. Should it be Chavito? Or should we get a sub 70 into the 70 realm? We're going to do Finley, and he's not doing a website interview. He's going to do a web blog. Finley's actually a blogger in his spare time. Gets that +3. And now he's probably sitting at 71, I believe. Yep, 71. Okay. Wow, that felt like somebody was way up there. Dykstra, Hardy. Okay, nope. Nobody really jumping out on there. Health report's good. Does Gregory Helms still have his? Yes, he does. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. And then I should check out contracts just once before I see how much money I have to. Okay, 2 guys in 3 weeks, and I've got just under 600K. That is not bad. And those 2 will be cheap, and then we will have some fellas that are not so cheap. I should have signed this motherfucker before I sent him on before I beefed him up, but we're just gonna extend him because I've got a feeling he might be higher than a 90, and it might be better just to sign him earlier than later. If I had more money, I'd probably just sign him for the rest of the series, because I don't plan on losing Bobby Lashley anytime soon. I will tell you that. We ain't trading him. We ain't doing nothing like that. We're just going to get into our June 28th edition of Smackdown, get that all booked up, and then we'll get you guys going so you could go do something else. Match number 1 is going to be a tag team match, kind of piggybacked off of the week prior. We've got Kenny Dykstra and Chavo Guerrero taking on MVP and Johnny Nitro. We've got another heel versus heel action. That's kind of what happens when you've got 8 heels on your roster, or 8 faces compared to 12 heels. So, and like 5 of your faces are kind of already booked up in rivalries and such. So, we're rolling with Kenny Dykstra and Chavo Guerrero taking on MVP Johnny Nitro. There's some exhibition tag team action. We'll move on to match number 2. Jeff Hardy versus Marcus Corvon. So both of these guys are going to have their partners with them, and what we're going to say here in the kayfabe is Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy last week, they picked up the number 1 contendership for the tag team titles. They extended the offer. We should just have our tag team match, tonight. What do you guys say? Marcus Corvan is like, let's do it. I'm down. I want to compete. I want to, take somebody on after being able to get in the ring with Lashley and Edge. I'm feeling good about myself, and I want to redeem myself. Elijah Burke said, well, that's great for you, man, but I'm not really feeling that great. I think I'm going to have to call it in tonight. So, I'll tell you what, you can just take on one of these two in a one-on-one match. Obviously, I'm not going to let you take a handicap match because I need my partner, but you take on a one-on-one match, and then we'll see how I'm feeling next week about maybe defending our tag team titles. And, the Hardys, they're not tripping. They're like, that's cool, man. We're supposed to be buds, so we're not going to freak out on you. We got our tag team match locked up, so, we're not tripping. Marcus Corvan said, all right, man, I hope you feel better, but if it's cool with you, I'm going to go out and whoop some ass. So, Jeff Hardy, let's go. So, that's how match number 2 is made. It's just a one-on-one matchup, despite everybody being out there. Match number 3 is not a real match at all, but it is something that will continue on our rivalry of Mr. Chris Masters and Kane. Parking lot brawl. This is another attack. We'll put, just because it makes sense in my brain, guy on the left is the attacker. Guy on the right is the one getting jumped. Chris Masters is attacking Kane in the back. Kane is playing, the face in this rivalry, and Kane definitely gets a good little pop when he comes out. So he wasn't necessarily coming out to attack Chris Masters last week, just kind of getting in his head and fucking with him. But he's also not like, I'm going to go out and save Sabu kind of face. He's more of just like, I'm a badass, and everyone believes that. So that's match number 3, just a parking lot brawl between these two, not an actual match in kayfabe. Match number 4, Rey Mysterio needs a tag team partner because he is going to be, or else he's going to be in a handicap match, a 1-on-3 handicap match. So he finds himself a partner. This game would not let you do a tag on trio, at least in the general manager mode from what I'm seeing. Yeah. Okay. So what we're going to do is Rey Mysterio needs a partner because he's taken on Finlay, William Regal, and King Booker. It's really just mainly it's going to be Finlay and William Regal, and King Booker's going to get like some kicks in for the most part. He's still not really fucking with Rey Mysterio in that way. But Rey Mysterio is able to find himself a partner. It's another cruiserweight. It is Sabu. So this is what we've got for this matchup. It is a handicap match on the surface in kayfabe, but it is just a tag team match in gameplay. That means we may or may not see it. Anyway, moving on to the main event. It is once again featuring Bobby Lashley and Edge teaming up. However, they are going to be teaming up against... Here, let's get them out here so we can... But then we gotta make it so Edge comes out last because he's the champion. We are going to put these two up against Rey Mysterio and Snitsky. No, that's not true at all. Mr. Kennedy and Snitsky actually will be their opponents. This is the general manager's shot that he is giving Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Kennedy, once again, he finds himself in the ear of the general manager, and he said, "You adding me to Judgment or to the Great American Bash yet, you beautiful bastard?" And the general manager is like, "I'm not sure. You really are going to, control your own fate, I suppose, because Bobby Lashley and Edge, I like the way that they looked last night or last week. I like the way the audience reacted to those two being in the ring together, and I like the way people turned on their televisions to see Edge and Bobby Lashley in the ring together. So it's another 4-match card night. I got to put all my big dogs in on the main event. 3 big dogs and 1 big ugly bastard. Mr. Kennedy and Snitsky taking on Bobby Lashley and Edge in a tag team contest. No strings attached. If Kennedy is able to get a victory here, he will have considerable justification to be put into the Great American Bash pay-per-view main event. So we will see what happens here. And then I just realized that all my matches are pretty vanilla, so we are going to change that up. We'll just put these guys... Oh, fuck, I can't do that. Oh, no, that's disappointing. Oh, well, Booker is like an 87 popularity right now. Anyway, I'm pretty sure he's a little higher than I need him to be on the roster, or on the Power 15. So we'll just go ahead and we'll make it a table tornado match. And then parking lot brawl, that should be just fine there. And then since these two, we're not going to play this match. I'll tell you right now, we're not going to play this match. We will just go ahead and make it a TLC between two random fucking teams. Okay, and then promo. Let's see who's inactive. Gregory Helms, who is nursing his injury. And then King Ibuka. Okay, we got both those promos set up. We've got our full match card set up. One of the promos is a rivalry to continue a rivalry. Another is a rivalry promo to continue another rivalry. That one being Rey Mysterio and King Booker, since I can no longer I chose to keep the stipulation match, the gimmick match, instead of putting Booker in there. So we've got that going there. We've got our full match card set up. We're not locking it in because bad things happen when we do that. Let's scurry over to our roster page so we can end out this episode. Well, folks, if you are still here, thank you for watching. Maybe consider subscribing to the channel, giving the video a like. It's all appreciated. Some feedback down below would be even better. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.